All right, guys. Welcome back to the Let's Talk Ball pod. This is episode 36. I'm your host, Tochi, aka Tochi Talks Ball. I am here with my good friend Spain. Let's Talk Ball is a pod where we talk about everything going on in the world of football, mainly Premier League. I'm a United fan. He's an Arsenal fan, so we'll touch on those teams specifically, but we will try and hit on everything. Thank you guys for listening. If this is your first time, if you're a return visitor, thank you for listening. Make sure to share with some friends, like, comment, subscribe. All that helps a lot. But before we get into the rest of the pod and talk about what we're going to talk about today, Spain, how you doing?
Good. Just came off watching Arsenal beat Atletico Madrid 4-0 in the Champions League. Gyökeres got a brace. Things looking good across the board in terms of the Premier League. Had a nice win as well. Pretty comfortable win against Atletico Madrid. Should have been it was a tough game, but to score 4 and keep a clean sheet is huge against them. So yes, they're doing really well. How are you?
Nice. Yeah, I am doing well as well. It's been a minute since we did this. We had an international break, and then both of us were with each other in SF the other weekend, and just kind of had a lot of stuff happening in between. So it's nice to get back to the pod.
It is.
Let's see. So just to give you a brief outline before we jump into everything, what we'll start with is kind of like our Game Week 8 reactions and our Game Week 8 awards, talking about who was our winners and losers of the week, if there's a goal of the week, match of the week, fraud watch, that kind of stuff. And then I would love to do a deep dive on the United versus Liverpool match because that went very well for me this weekend. So definitely need to talk about that. We'll talk about Arsenal, and then we'll see how much time we've got after that to see if we'll hit on some stuff at the end. But without further ado, let's jump into our Game Week 8 awards. So first one of the week is who is the winner of the week? Did you have anything on your side?
Yeah, this is an obvious one that I will leave for you. But my winners of the week are the promoted sides. When I was looking at the table at the end of the weekend, I saw that none of them were in the bottom 3, which was really impressive, and been quite the opposite of what's been happening in recent years, where the promoted sides have basically been in the bottom 3 the entire year and have all gone down. So it's really great to see them doing well and to not be in the bottom 3 and having a great start to the season. And I'd love to see at least like 1 or 2 of them not get relegated, but as of now, it looks like all 3 could stay up, which would be awesome to see.
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed about how all of these teams have started the season. Sunderland was really far up there for a while. Looks like maybe they're coming down a little bit to earth, but they did still have a good. I think they won this weekend. Or am I making that up?
They beat Wolves, right?
Yeah. So they won this weekend, beat Wolves, which is huge for them. Burnley beat Leeds, but Leeds is still looking like a pretty decent side whenever I watch them play. And it also helps that Ange was completely diabolical over Forest, and West Ham look like they're just an absolute shambles as well. And then Wolves are just quietly still have not won a game all season.
Wow, that's so bad.
Yeah, so there's definitely some Premier League teams doing their part in helping these promoted teams stay up this season so far. So we'll see if that trend continues, if any of these teams can figure it out. I've got high hopes for Sean Dyche coming in over at Nottingham Forest after they got rid of Ange this past weekend.
Yeah, it might be time to start picking up the Forest defenders again and Matt Sells in FPL.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, who's your winner of the week?
Yeah, my winner of the week, it's Ruben Amorim and Harry Maguire. I want to give them a joint winner of the week for different reasons. So Ruben Amorim, I'm going to start with him because I think that one's more obvious. He is my winner of the week because he went to Anfield and picked up a huge 3 points. I think there's been so much pressure and so much talk about him as a manager, whether he would even make it past this past international break or the November international break. And I think this win did a lot to buy him some time and a little bit of faith. I think United put up a good performance, and I want to give Ruben Amorim the credit because I don't think it was necessarily that they fluked it. I think he put out a good game plan, a good lineup. I won't get too much in the details. We'll talk about it more in the in-depth conversation about United-Liverpool. But long story short, Amorim got a huge win away at Anfield. First time United have done that since 2016, so he's my winner of the week. And then I also want to give a shout-out to Harry Maguire, who scored the winner in that match. And the reason he's the winner for me is he just consistently shows up in these clutch moments for United, and I think it should not be underestimated just how much abuse and just how much he was turned into a meme, how much he was made fun of and basically told that he was just a shite footballer, and just the way he just kept his head down and like worked and has basically turned himself from one of the worst United players ever, to someone that I think a lot of fans have so much respect for. I think I got to give him that. Like, he's been at United since, I forget what it was, maybe like 2018, something like that. Like, I think he's played Liverpool 7 times and has never beat them at Anfield. So that felt really good. After the game, you could see him looking at the crowd, and he was like almost in tears, just like soaking in the moment at realizing what he had just done. So he's my winner of the week.
Yeah, very fair, very well deserved. I was definitely one of the people that was dogging on Maguire in his first few seasons when he was really bad and making terrible mistakes. But he's been looking a lot better the past few years. I thought he had a great season last year. I think he's just a rock for you guys. And like you said, he comes up with huge moments, huge goals. So all respect to Maguire for pushing through, making that position mostly his. He still gets rotated. But shout out to Maguire for just doing his thing and proving the haters wrong.
Yep. Let's move on to I didn't really have a loser of the week, maybe besides like Ange. Like, I think, unfortunately for him, he's got to be the loser of the week for me.
Yeah, I don't really have anyone bigger than that, so I'll go with Ange too. Getting fired basically probably before kickoff, before the end of the game. I know Marinakis left like 20 minutes before the whistle blew. I'm sure he went back and said, all right, we're calling it. And so it happened, I think, while Ange was in the tunnel, basically.
Exactly.
Still a little bad for him. I don't think he was put in the right position, but I also don't think he did a good job and is a bit of a fraud. So don't really feel too bad, especially with him being a former Tottenham manager. But it is what it is. He did not get the results and rightfully got fired.
Yeah, he did get our Fraud Watch award the last time we did a pod, so that it looks like it aged well for us, poorly for him. Let's move on to the match of the week. For me, it was United versus Liverpool. Just selfishly, I thought it was nice. Like, it was somewhat competitive match. It had its chances for it being, it wasn't that low scoring. It was 2-1, but had its chances, had its excitement, had the late winner, and a good result for most neutral fans, I would think. So that was my match of the week.
Yeah, I got to watch it with Riley, who's a Liverpool fan, so I got to take a little bit of enjoyment of rooting for United, which I hardly ever do, but wanted Liverpool to drop points, and I got to have a nice hate watch and then see Riley get, you didn't get really too upset, but get to watch him see Liverpool lose was great because he's quite vocal in the group chats. Not as much lately with how Liverpool's been performing, but that was an enjoyable watch for me. And I thought it was a pretty exciting game. Lots of posts were hit. I think Gakpo hit like 3 times. Bruno hit the post once. So a lot of chances throughout the game and a pretty late goal from Maguire. So it was an exciting game.
Yeah. And then the other match of the week I wanted to shout out was Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. I'm not sure if you got to see a little bit more of this one than I did, but it ended 3-3. It looked like an absolute thriller. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch most of it, so I went back and watched some of the highlights, and it was a fun one for sure.
Yeah, thankfully I sat down for the second half for that one. I was busy during the first half, but I got to see all the excitement in the second half. Nuts game. Mateta had a hat-trick and yet somehow still underperformed his XG. He had tons of chances. He had a sitter at the end to win it. Bournemouth had a bunch of goals. I mean, just the fight from Palace to come back. I mean, they look great. Bournemouth looked really solid. Just a really entertaining game from 2 great teams that I always enjoy watching whenever I see them on a slate or something. I'm always interested to watch those 2 teams. And when they match up against each other, the game really delivered.
Yeah, coming into the weekend, that was the one game that I actually wanted to pay the most attention to, so I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to watch that. But yeah. And then moment of the week, it sounds like you just touched on that. I see in the notes you've got Mateta underperforming his XG.
Yeah,
and still scoring a hat trick.
Yeah, just an absurd stat. I mean, to do that is nuts. They had 4.4 XG or something. Crystal Palace, which is a huge number. Like to get anything above 3 is massive. So to get 4 is nuts. And they still only drew. So I guess Bournemouth took the chance as well. But yeah, nuts game.
I think I saw a stat online that Mateta's 3-point whatever XG that he generated was the most that has ever been generated in the Premier League since they've started keeping track of that.
Oh my gosh, that's
By a
nuts.
single player. Yeah, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have a goal of the week?
I don't really. I mean, obviously, I love the Maguire goal, but I won't stick with that. I would say, I think Buendia had a pretty good goal to kill off Tottenham at the end of that game. That was a good one, but nothing else is jumping out as far as like outrageous goals to me.
Yeah, I like the Rodgers goal. He smacked that one.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's the one for me. I didn't go back and watch all the goals, but thinking back, that Rodgers goal was really nice. He just found a pocket of space and smacked it.
What's his name as well? Tachua or something from Burnley had a sick goal as well.
Yeah. He really hit that hard.
Like outside the box. Yeah. There's a video of him watching it back in the tunnel. He looks so satisfied with himself.
That's the best feeling, like watching back a sick goal. Like, one, the feeling is great, but then you watch it back and it delivers. Like, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Let's move on to unsung hero of the week. Who is that for you?
Mine's got to be Danny Welbeck. Scoring a brace, really well taking goals. The dude's like, 39 years old or whatever, and just still doing
producing.
Really honest work. Love the guy, love his mentality. Love to see him being able to stay a little healthier, even though he's not been the starting lineup throughout this season so far, I think, because of probably some injuries. But just love everything about Danny Welbeck, and to see him getting his goals is awesome. He's had a great career, and just love the guy.
Yeah, 100%. He's someone that I just, like, I don't know. I feel like you brought him up a couple times towards the beginning of the season, and I've been trying to look out for him, and he's just, like you said, he's just a model professional. Like, I feel like he's the type of guy you want on your team. He's not only just someone that works hard, but then he's producing in big moments like that as well. I mean, you can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's perfect for that Brighton team because they have such a young squad. Just to give that example of what a true professional is, I'm sure it goes such a long way for that team and that squad.
Yeah, having Unk in the locker room is important. My unsung hero of the week was Matheus Cunha. I thought he had an incredible performance against Liverpool, especially in that second half. First half, he like made a couple key passes and stuff like that. He was great, but that second half, I honestly haven't been able to get over it since the game ended. Like, I think he's just what I've been saying is, like, I feel like someone forgot to tell him that he was playing away at Anfield for a shite United side against the former champions, because the way he walked on the pitch, it felt like the way he was playing was like, I'm the best player on the pitch, and I know it. And he just took so much responsibility, and he was like our singular pressure valve when Liverpool were building up a lot of pressure against us in that second half. It was Matheus Cunha consistently who was getting the ball, able to carry out a pressure and either make something happen with the pass or get fouled. And it was just the way that he did that, I thought was so important for us, and didn't get appreciated because he probably didn't end up on the score sheet like Bruno or Maguire or Mbeumo, but I thought he was so good.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching the game at a bar with Riley, so I wasn't paying like the closest attention. So I need to go back and watch just his full match highlights because I didn't get to see. I wasn't paying as close attention. Like you said, like he didn't quite catch my eye because he wasn't on the score sheet. But I think it's a great shout. I need to go back and watch his highlights.
Yeah, I can send you a comp from Twitter that I watched.
Send it my way.
There's one moment towards the end of the game where we'd kind of been penned in our box, and Matheus Cunha gets the ball, takes a nice little flick past one player. I think it was Frimpong, and then Frimpong's kind of hawking him down. He has Frimpong on his back, and he starts to get double teamed. He like spins out of the double team on the sideline, and it looks like there's no way he's going to keep the ball. He fell to the ground, somehow got up, took a nice little touch away from Wirtz, and then like just nicely passed it away into space after he drew two people onto him. And it's just like stuff like that he was doing the whole game that I just thought exemplified like exactly what we needed.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like you guys have not had that midfielder that can get out of pressure very well. So huge, especially against Liverpool when they were putting that pressure on to either get the winner when it was still tied or try to get a late equalizer.
Exactly. What about Fraud Watch? What do you got for that?
I'll take one of the ones I think you put down in the notes, but the non-enforced ownership. They've touched on it, how I don't think Ange was the right hire. I think he also deserved to get fired because he wasn't doing a good job. But how do you go from having a team in fourth for the majority of last season, barely dropping out of the Champions League spot towards the end of last season, to make the well, they're in the Europa League. They finished the Conference League spot, but made the Europa League because of Crystal Palace's ownership stuff. To go from that to being in a relegation zone right now at the start of this season because you fire Nuno and then make a poor hire with Ange, it just looks like a mess right now. Complete opposite vibes from last season.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I just feel like you can't. That was a big call that they were making, and I'm sure they knew it was risky, but I don't know. I just feel like you can't get that call that wrong. And on top of it sounds like they hired Ange because they wanted to go more progressive, and then to fire Ange and then go to Sean Dyche, who's I feel like just basically Nuno, but maybe even on steroids. I feel like that's just so funny to me. It shows that they were okay, maybe we didn't make the right call. I mean, good on them for correcting it somewhat quickly, but still, that's bad. That's poor.
It's kind of a know your place, not enforce or flying a little too high to the sun.
Exactly.
The old Icarus story, and got burned.
Exactly.
Now they realize, all right, we're not quite that club. Let's go back to what we know.
Exactly.
Defense and solidity.
Yeah, and then my other frauds for the week were Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk, and Salah specifically. Van Dijk and Salah. Van Dijk was, in my opinion, at fault for that first goal.
Agreed.
And just looked off, honestly, the whole game in general. So he's someone that's he's allowed to look human. I'll give him that. He's looked not human for so long that whenever he does look human, it seems exaggerated. But then Mo Salah, I think, as well. One, he had that big miss towards the end, which I think, an in-form prime Mo Salah probably finishes that. But I just feel like in general this season, and even towards the end of last season, he just hasn't really looked like himself. Maybe he has looked like himself, and he's just not getting the clutch goal or penalty at the end of the game is really what it is. Because I feel like he had times last season where he would ghost a little bit, and then all of a sudden would just, come up with a big moment. But this season, he just looks, I don't know, like a shell of himself. Even hearing Liverpool fans, I feel like they're all fed up with him, which is crazy. I've seen Liverpool fans calling for him to be benched and rotated out, which is, I don't know, just crazy to me after the season he just had.
Yeah, I mean, we called it saying Salah's performances weren't good at the beginning of the season, but he was still getting goals. And at the beginning of last season, I called out Van Dijk because I thought he was looking disinterested and nonchalant the way he is this season, but he got better and they had such a good season last year. Couldn't really say anything bad about them, but Van Dijk's nonchalantness is really shown this year, and it looks great when you're defending well, your whole you're winning, and the defenders around you are all performing, and you're getting away with it, or you're making that last block, the block at the very end after jockeying a player for 40 yards. But I feel like he's not quite there in terms of his athletic capabilities, maybe, whatever. But the whole nonchalantness that he always has had is not really working for him this year, and it makes him look super disinterested. So I think he was at fault for that first goal. I don't think Konate was. He was trying to cover for Van Dijk, not pressing or not following the runner. I don't think Van Dijk is really looking up to it this season. I don't think he's been terrible. I don't think he's the whole issue, because Konate's been bad. He was actually pretty good this game, but he's been bad throughout the season. Connor Bradley's not been good. Kirkes isn't playing the role he used to play, and it's not been looking good. So the whole defense is bad. But Van Dijk is definitely showing signs.
Yeah,
definitely on fraud watch.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Just the last quick point on Liverpool is they signed Van Dijk and Mo Salah both just signed their new contracts last year after not being sure, and I think the club was a little bit reluctant because they're both kind of above what we would usually offer, when we would offer a player a new contract, but they're both so good that we kind of have to make exceptions for them. It'd be really interesting if it seems I don't know if this is a false downward turn and it's just them going down with the form of the team, or if they both are just kind of past their peak and going to start declining. And if so, it could be, some awkward contract situations for both Salah and Van Dijk moving forward.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to know. We may never find this out, but what the group that owns Liverpool thinks in the end or at the end of the season about his contracts. I'm sure, like you said, they don't give out these contracts usually, and it probably goes against like their formula and everything. So I'm sure they had lots of discussions on whether they should offer these players these big contracts on their age, because like you said, there is like that fall off at some point. And if they have hit it, I'm sure the ownership group will be kicking themselves for going against what they've kind of built their whole system on, and like signing good players, giving them like the right contracts, not overpaying like for older players.
Yeah, we'll see. Saudi will probably come in and bail out Liverpool for Salah at least, but
yeah,
we'll see. Let's move on to I just want to touch on a couple funny moments of the week that I saw. Both are from the United Liverpool game. First one, since we're on the topic of Van Dijk, it was there was a moment where I forget who sent in I think it was Dorgu sent in a cross that was in a dangerous area, and Van Dijk went to clear it, and it just rockets off of Kirkes's face. He looked so stunned by it after Kirkes was already having a pretty bad game. And it looked like Van Dijk, instead of turning to apologize or see if Kirkes was okay, was immediately like yelling at him for like, I guess, doing something wrong or either getting in the way or something, which I just thought was absolutely hilarious. Kirkes, like at that point, still had no idea what was even going on. And then the other one for me was Cunha. At the end of the game, he had two really funny time-wasting moments. The first one was he got the ball at the edge of the box after Liverpool had tried to send it in, and he's dribbling out, and he gets fouled. And he does really well to cheekily earn the foul. He was looking for the foul the whole way. He wasn't actually looking to get away. And then he starts like asking the ref for the foul, and then remembers like he's got to waste some time, and like starts acting like he's got a cramp and starts asking for someone to come stretch him out, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And then I think it was a few minutes later, one of the Liverpool players got fouled and is on the ground, and Cunha is holding the ball, trying to be like, wait, we got to stop the game, like trying to check on Curtis Jones, who I think was on the ground and like refused to give the ball back to the Liverpool fans, and was just doing his best, like on top of like taking the pressure off with his play, he was also doing his best shithousery, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, he definitely was pretty eager with that cramp.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it was that delayed, but it looked painful. I mean, if you get like a Charlie horse or something in your calf, those things hurt.
Yeah.
But if it was faking it, he definitely embellished that. If it wasn't a real cramp.
Yeah, maybe it was. He was working hard the whole game, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, my funny moment of the week is also from the same game, also with Van Dijk. Right at the beginning of the game, he elbows McAllister, and that cap they put on McAllister was so...
not even swimming cap.
It looks so bad. I immediately sent texted our group minus 1,000 aura from McAllister. He looks so goofy with it.
Poor guy, man.
I was just about to say poor guy. He's having a tough start to the season. He had to wear that cap for the entire game and play like partially injured.
Mm-hmm. That was funny. I was making jokes. I was like, he's got the shiesty on.
Like, real quick point on McAllister. I saw an interesting TikTok talking to some Liverpool guy. Don't know how I came across this video. I actually looking for McAllister compilation videos to see how poor he's been this season. But it was back in August. There was an interview. McAllister was really down and sounded pretty sad about losing Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, and one of the coaches, who's a South American coach. Because it sounds like they hang out a lot. He was like the only South American guy, so those were his best friends. And so they hung out a lot off the field, had a lot of barbecues together, which I know is really big, and like the South American culture, like having weekend barbecues, hanging out, drinking wine, whatever. So I'm wondering if that's really playing a role in McAllister's tough start of the season, not having his best friends there. The whole team looks a little disjointed. They're bringing in new players. So the whole team is fitting together both on the field, but I think off the field is really affecting McAllister, not having his close friends there. He's always seemed like a really quiet player. So that's a theory that someone else brought up that I think is really ringing true.
Yeah, I think that could be honestly so true. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's playing a bigger influence than people might have believed or been aware of, I guess I should say, not believed. I actually saw a report today, I don't know if you saw the same one, that McAllister might look to leave next summer, but even as soon as January. Wow. I think Real Madrid are interested in him. I saw, at least according to the report, it was Indicator, so take it with a grain of salt. But I saw that, which would make sense. Like if he's unhappy, unsettled, and just kind of wants to get out of there, maybe get around more people that maybe feel more like him, get out of that situation. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what that creator said. He said, we're going to lose him next summer, I bet. So the guy was spot on. Everyone in the comments was like, no, you're reading too much into it. You're making like a huge story out of nothing. But the guy, I think, is spot on actually in hindsight. So shout out to the
Yeah.
creator for who it was. But really insightful, good foresight. And I could definitely see him. I didn't see those reports, but after seeing how he's playing, after hearing about that story, I could definitely see him being a little unhappy and wanting to get around more South American players and feeling in a more comfortable environment.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great shout. Appreciate you bringing that up. Um, on the topic of Liverpool United, since we've been talking so much about it, let me just do my full deep
Yep.
dive and go into that. So, if you don't already know, Manchester United beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield once again. That is the first time United have done that since January 2016. It's the first time any team in the Premier League has beat Liverpool at Anfield since Nottingham Forest last season. So those wins come few and far between. I know Liverpool are in a very, very rough run of form right now. That is, they've lost, 4 games in a row now? But um, still, big win for United, especially the way that people were talking about them coming into the match. And I wanted to first start with the team selection. I thought Amram got it spot on. At first, I was really skeptical. There was a lot of noise in the United fan base leading up to the game because Benjamin Sesko got dropped after scoring 2 goals in a row, or two games in a row in the Premier League. And then Lenny Yoro also didn't play as well. And I thought that was a little bit of a mistake at first, but then I listened to Amram's post-match interview, and he said on top of like the play long and win second ball strategy that we were going for, he really wanted to prioritize experience, and I think the experience showed pretty well today. But he was saying, like, at Anfield, it's a tough place to play. Imagine something happens in the first few minutes of the game and we go down. You kind of want your experienced players like your Harry Maguires, your Luke Shaws, who have, they might not be in the best of form, but they've all seen and been in these situations before. He wanted experience on the pitch. Casemiro as well in midfield instead of Ugarte. Those types of decisions. Diogo Dalot starting at left wing back instead of Patrick Dorgu, I thought was great as well. The whole lineup was optimized for basically hit the ball long. We know we're not going to beat Konate and Van Dijk in the air, but then have Cunha, Mason Mount, Bruno, and Bumo, all these guys all on that in the midfield ready to win those second balls. And I think that's exactly how the first goal came about. And that's how we got a lot of our success and chances against Liverpool. So I actually thought Amram's game plan and the selection to go along with it was on point there. And even Diogo Dalot at left wing back over Dorgu, even though he was absolutely shocking in the first half on the ball, I still think he brings a certain level of experience and also was probably a better matchup against Salah on that left-hand side than Dorgu would have been as well. So credit to Amram for getting that right.
Yeah, and I really like that he picked Amad Diallo at right wing back with like more attacking as opposed to playing Dello there and then Dorgu on the left, because I think Kirkez is definitely exploitable. So I was happy that Amram went more attacking with that, with putting Diallo there to try and push back Kirkez and just try to exploit the right side.
That's a great shout as well. That left-hand side looks so vulnerable, and having Ahmad and Mbeumo there for them to deal with it will cause most teams trouble, but especially like this Liverpool team that just hasn't quite been able to figure it out. I feel like the commentary was focusing so much on Kirkez and just that left-hand side. I mean, I guess with reason though. Like, I guess it did look pretty bad, but I felt bad for Kirkez, honestly, just halfway through the match. He just looked a little bit scared. Like, even when he got the ball, he would look up for options, like couldn't really make a decision. He'd be like, all right, Van Dijk, you just take the ball, you do something.
Yeah, and the first goal was Ahmad and Mbeumo linking up. Ahmad put a really nice ball in behind to Ahmad, perfectly weighted. So it was a really good selection from Imran, top to bottom, like you said.
Yep. And then just to run through the big moments from the game, obviously we just talked about how that first goal came about, and Mbeumo scores about 60 seconds into the match. Van Dijk knocks down, honestly, McAllister and Mbeumo both get knocked down. McAllister stays down because he got knocked in the head, but Mbeumo is able to get up and still run past the Liverpool defense and finish, which I thought was a great effort by him. Really clean, great start to the game, took a lot of pressure off United and allowed them to just kind of sit in and really commit to their game plan of just kick the ball long, keep it tight, don't do anything crazy. And then in the first half, I thought that United played relatively well. Gakpo had his chances. He had two off the post in the first half, I think, at least. And then Bruno had a huge miss that was off of Acuna, passed it out wide to Ahmad, who's on the right side. Ahmad drives to the byline and puts in a beautiful cutback. Bruno, honestly, you got to get that on frame, but he missed that. That was a big moment. And then the other big moment from the first half was Isak getting sent in behind from, I forget who it was, sent a nice ball in for Isak, and he was one-on-one with Lamens. I thought Lamens probably could have come off his line a little bit more, but still made a great save with his feet, which I thought was a huge moment because that was, I think, Liverpool's first shot on target, or maybe even their first shot in general. And the reason that's so big is because we have conceded from the first one or two shots against us in a lot of games. And in all those games, I think we've gone on to lose or maybe draw at the best. And I think it's just because Onana and Bayindir just have not been able to consistently come out and make those stops and kind of prevent things from unraveling way before they should. In my opinion, I think Lamens has given us a lot of security in the back there. I also thought Lamens was really good with his feet. He didn't have to play short passes or anything too accurate, but his kicking, I think if you look out for it, is kind of a hack because he was kicking it really long, but like relatively accurately. Like he was still kicking it at players. He wasn't kicking it out of bounds. It wasn't so lofted up or anything like that that it was easy for Liverpool to deal with when they were heading them. They were forced to kind of head it back into midfield. And then the other thing about the distance was, I don't want to get too technical, but Liverpool was setting up their line at about like the halfway line or so, or maybe 5 yards behind that. And he was able to kick it even farther than that. So Liverpool's back line was forced to drop, but it was creating space between their midfield line and their back line so that when we did get those second balls, there was a little bit more space for us to run at the Liverpool defense rather than them being right on us when we got the ball. So I thought that went really well, and I thought he performed well in that first half.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than being a defender and having to chase a ball coming over top of you as opposed to being able to just head it and keep everything in front of you.
Exactly. And then moving into the second half, Liverpool definitely had the much better second half. United were struggling to create much of anything or any clear-cut chances in that second half, but the onus was also on Liverpool to attack. I think we were pretty comfortable just sitting in as well, so the game state obviously played a role there. But Liverpool's pressure eventually leads to the Gakpo goal, and I just wanted to shout out Chiesa again. This man's stepping up for Liverpool a lot recently. So I thought that was a key moment in the match. But then as soon as that Gakpo goes in, I know everyone is thinking, oh boy, here it comes. Like the Manchester United collapse is coming. Liverpool at Anfield, you hear the roar of the crowd. Like this could get ugly. Liverpool probably go on and win it at this point. But of course, 5 minutes later, Bruno Fernandes puts in a beautiful ball off of the volley. They send in the corner, and it bounces out back to Bruno, who first time, like, what was it? Mbumo shot the ball off the initial corner. It deflects off the defender and comes back to Bruno. And first time he puts in that ball to the back post to Harry Maguire, which was like on a dime. And Harry Maguire puts it in at the back of the net 5 minutes later, which was a huge, massive response from Manchester United. I want to shout out Bruno because I thought he also had a shocking second half. I thought he was really bad in that second half, but he's also just the type of player that like he'll just pull those moments out of nowhere. So I thought it was really, not telling, but I just thought I was really impressed with how badly Bruno played, but then still put in a ball like that. And that's why you keep him on the field. That's why you persist with Bruno, even if he's not having the best games, because he can come up with a moment of magic like that. And after that, we just sat in, defended for our lives, and then Cunha was our release valve on the Liverpool pressure whenever we needed it. And so that's how United ended up winning the game. Good performance overall. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, big one for you guys. That was a really nice assist by Bruno. The concentration just to hit it first time like that, like you said, like on a dime right to the back post was quite impressive. It was nice having him in fantasy to get that assist as well. And of course in bonus, I believe. Yeah, huge one for you guys. Love that you guys took 3 points off of Liverpool to help Arsenal with their title challenge, and fun game overall.
Yep. So we've kind of already touched on all my takeaway notes that I had. I had the Salah and Virgil van Dijk stinkers. I had Bruno good first half, bad second half, but still had the moment of quality for the winning goal. And then I thought Cunha was great and complete mentality monster. And then pressures off Emram for now. He's got a nice run of games now following this. Over the next 13 matches, we don't play Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, or Man City. So we've got the best team we'll play is probably like a Newcastle or Brighton or Bournemouth. So he's got a really good opportunity to try and stretch together some good results. They're only 2 points off of fourth place right now after everyone talking about the crisis that's going on. So hopefully they can capitalize off this and turn this into some wins in a row. Hopefully we can turn it into 5 so my boy United Strand can finally get his haircut.
Yeah, that'd be great. So does this win, change anything for you?
Not really. I don't think it necessarily means that I know I jokingly said in my video this week that United are back. I didn't really mean it necessarily. I don't think they're gonna be all of a sudden some title contenders or Champions League confirmed or anything like that. But it does give me more confidence in the team. I think what was most impressive to me in this match was starting off well and not conceding early, which is something that we do way too often. And then the second is how we responded to the Liverpool goal. Because I think in the past we would have responded by getting a little bit more hectic, not playing our game, not sticking to the game plan. And I thought we responded really well. And so those were my major takeaways. I don't necessarily walk away from it thinking, oh, the system is the best and we're going to not too up on the team. I think it more just showed we do have that little bit of resilience, and maybe that is a sign of the team growing in confidence a little bit. So that's really what it is for me.
Yeah, some building blocks to hopefully make a more sustained season and a little more consistency. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for now is consistency, being able to string together some wins, some comfortable wins, especially with having a easier schedule coming up. So yeah, definitely improvements being made and the team's looking better. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how this is sustained and what the consistency looks like going forward for United.
Yeah, even if we go and I don't think we should, but even if we go and lose to Brighton, I don't necessarily want to freak out either. I think if there's one thing I've learned from this season, it's just let's give it some time. There's so much noise, so much stuff going on with in the world of Manchester United. I feel like there's so much reaction, whereas if you looked at the underlying numbers have not been that bad. And if you look at who we've played in the context of the strength of schedule and all that, I know this is a big if you remove it, but if you remove that Grimsby game, I think people are thinking about and talking about this United team completely differently. So I think I'm just trying to keep a level head, really.
Nice.
But that's all I had on United.
Cool. We can move on to Arsenal then. So Arsenal beat Fulham 1-0 over the weekend on Saturday. For the team selection, the notable things were Eze started in midfield because Odegaard is out until it's probably November, December time. Sucks that he's had so many injuries this season and can't seem to get fit. And then Trossard started at left wing. He's been a pretty consistent selection by Arteta this season. He's been playing well. He got the goal for us. So really happy he's contributing and looking to play a little better because towards the end of the last season, beginning of this season, he wasn't looking very good at all. But he's definitely getting back to kind of what he's about. Nothing too fancy, but being in the right spot for the goal like he does a lot of times. But the performance overall, I thought it was a game we should have won, and it was a game we won, I thought, pretty comfortably. In terms of possession, it was 63% for Arsenal, 1.87 to 0.44 XG, and 3 big chances for Arsenal to 0. The biggest thing is our defense. Our defense has been massive this season. Building off of last season, we are so solid in the back. We hardly give up any big chances. I think we gave up one against Atletico Madrid today, who are a really good side, some really good attacking players. But we just give the opposition nothing to work with. So really good foundation, and then let our attackers go and win us the game, or have our defenders like Gabriel step up and do everything for us and score goals off set pieces. But overall, I didn't think there was too much to talk about in the game. I thought that was a pretty comfortable win. But I was really happy with what I saw. Those are the type of games you need to win comfortably if you want to have a title-winning season. So I was happy just overall. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think you guys look super solid. I think the point I was going to drive home is the defense just looks so good. And honestly, the depth that you guys have, watching you guys and watching Lewis Skelly a little bit. Like I saw a couple
He
Lewis
was
Skelly
so
highlights
good
today.
So
He
good.
looks so good, and the fact that like you have someone like Calafiore keeping him out of the team in the Premier League is just shows how much depth you guys have. And I
Hmm.
thought it was insane also how attacking both Timber and Calafiore are. Like Calafiore just has a free role. Like he's not even really a left back. He's just like a go pop up wherever you want on the field kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
he's one of my he might be not my favorite Arsenal player to watch, but he's really high up there to be honest this season. I've been loving what I've seen from him. He's got the most shots on your team tied with Victor Gyökeres, I'm pretty sure. Or if not, I think he's tied with him straight
Yeah,
up.
it's insane. His goal that got called off is something I wanted to bring up. That would have been an insane goal, but his positions he's taken up. Timber had the ball at right back, and he's kind of in the middle, like at midfield or just across midfield. It just takes off running when Timber plays that long ball to Trossard. And then California,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, is just offside. But he's higher than Gyökeres. He's basically not striker
Yeah.
when he finds the ball. It's an insane first time finish to the
Yeah.
top corner. Oh man, I really wish he was on side for that because that was a beautiful goal. But yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
is all over the place. Just the chaos he brings and the free roll. I feel like it's so hard to defend that because you got Joker's up there, and then our left back just pops up at striker and pulls out a finish like
Exactly.
that first time. Like, what are you supposed to do against that? How do you game plan for that?
Exactly. So it's been really fun watching him and just kind of like the chaos that he can cause just by popping up wherever he wants and how
Hmm.
intelligent he is with his movement and where to pick up, what pockets to sit in, all that stuff. So those are like the two things I want to call out from Arsenal was the defense and then how much I'm loving this Calafiore role.
Hmm. And you mentioned Timber too. He's been incredible. He gets up there a
Mm-hmm.
lot. He's high up in there, the XG as well, because he's been either getting shots off in the box or there for set pieces. But yeah, our outside backs have been phenomenal this season and incredible signings recently.
Yeah.
He scored another set piece goal. I think we deserved an open play goal today or over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
1.87 xG, but we had some really good chances. Saka had some really good moments where he would beat one or two players, either put in a good ball to get a nice shot off himself. I can't remember all the chances we had, but I just felt that we deserved an open play goal, even though it didn't come. But some of the creativity issues and lack thereof early in the season seems to be getting less and less, becoming less and less of a problem, which is
Yeah.
I'm really liking because that was like the biggest issue I was seeing early in the season. Looks like we're starting to find our groove with a little more consistency, having Saka back. We'll love to get Madueke back because I thought he was good and just to add to that depth, even though we have so much depth and such a solid squad overall.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought Saka looked really good, actually. I think he did end up winning player of the match as well.
I think so.
But I thought he looked really good over the weekend. And at least in the few minutes that I saw, I didn't see the whole game. As someone that watched probably more than me, and as someone that's a Jokeres owner in FPL, how did you feel about him? How's he looking in the team?
He was looking better this game. He had one chance that I really liked from him in the second half that he skied, unfortunately. But they played a ball over the top and he got in behind, battled I think Anderson to get in the box and get a first time shot off. It was a tough chance because the ball was bouncing and he was battling against Anderson. But I think he's still just like finding his groove. I mean, he scored 2 goals today in the Champions League, so that helps a lot. Because the biggest issue is just like the goal scoring. I think he's doing a lot for us in terms of positioning, stretching the defenders, taking away the center backs to give more space to Saka, and then like the late runs from midfield from Rice or Zubamendi or Eze. But just still need to see a little more composure from him, a little more fluidity still. But I liked what I saw, and I think he's just finding his groove still.
Yeah. So should I hold on to him, or you think I should go get another Arsenal asset? Is it worth the transfers?
That's so tough.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get Saka, I think it's probably worth going for Saka. He's just a better player, better pick.
Yeah.
Saka's the man.
Yeah. Hopefully he's primarily on penalties as well.
Yeah. You're in a tough spot because you have to move out of those players, but the ideal setup is Timber, Gabriel, Saka, like for sure.
Yeah.
But you don't have Timber or Saka, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a really tough decision because you have to use transfers to get to those guys. Like you're moving away good assets for better assets, but it's tough spot.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to pigeonhole myself. But I also still got my wild card, so maybe I do just kind of like short term my team into game week 12 and 13, and then maybe make a swap around there. But we'll see.
Yeah, if you're planning to play your wild card soonish, I would say hold for another week. But when we have that easy game coming up, I really want Saka in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunderland, I think.
You've got Burnley and Sunderland in the next 2 out of 3.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. I got Bruno, not in the same boat, but I got Bruno. I'm deciding whether to move him onto Saka this week or whether to wait another week. Because I don't think Crystal Palace at home is an easy fixture, but I think we will win 1 or 2-0 or 2-1, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm more excited to get the defense in, and then that's the other issue is I've got Raya in goal, which is like a perfectly fine pick. He's just so expensive. I'm like, I could just go get like Nick Pope for a little bit cheaper, and then go get Timber and have the attacking upside as well. Yeah. So. Yeah,
because our defenders are pulling up crazy numbers right now.
Yeah. I'm
Gabriel's.
Actually, maybe I'll do.
Gabriel's game log is nuts, and that's coming from someone who more Timber over Gabriel, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
Gabriel got a goal and assist and clean sheet today in the Champions League, so that would have been like a 20-pointer. Yeah, that would have been like a 20-pointer in fantasy.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I might have to prioritize Timber and maybe just like get Raya out of net, get Pope in, get Timber, and then maybe just ride Gyökeres and hope that he's getting assisted by Saka or something, or not getting assisted by Saka.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad comp because we don't really know if he's going to take penalties. You could get lucky with him taking a penalty over Saka in that time frame. So not the worst place to be.
Also, to get Saka in, I'd have to move out one of Bruno and Mbeumo. And I kind of love what I'm seeing from both of them right now. Just Bruno's got so many routes to points, and then Mbeumo is just on the end of so many chances for us. So I'm like, might as well ride with my boys as well.
But speaking of who's on pins for Arsenal, the one last thing I want to talk about is the pen that got overturned in the Fulham game. I thought that was a terrible call to overturn it. I'd had no problem really with the overturn against Chelsea, where Sanchez barely got the ball, but I think it's a terrible call to overturn the Saka penalty. I think that Kevin went through Saka first, made contact with his knee, took out his knee first, and then got slight contact on the ball.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Like barely got contact on the ball, but clearly made contact with Saka on the knee first. And then to overturn it, it was crazy to me. I don't know how they justified that call. I really hate that if you play the ball in any sense in the box, it's not a foul now, apparently. Even though anywhere else on the pitch, it doesn't matter if you get the ball. If you can still foul the player. It makes no sense whatsoever. Terrible call.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was one I kind of was seeing out of the corner of my eye, and like I could see that he got the ball, but I was like, I'd love to see the other angle to see if he got the leg first, and it sounds like he got leg first.
Oh, for sure. Clear contact on his knee, and then barely scrapes the ball. And toe pokes it away. It's, I mean, as obvious of a pen as I've seen. I heard some people arguing against it, like on a FPL pod. One guy was like, didn't think it should have been a foul at all. The other guy was completely on the opposite side. And I just think it's clearly a pen. I don't know why they returned it or do not understand the reasoning whatsoever.
Yeah, and then I'm going back to like the clear and obvious thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you called it that on the field, is it so clear and obviously like that it's an error or what? But
yeah, I mean, agreed, but that's the lesser point. It's just straight up a foul to begin with.
Yeah.
He got the man first and then got the ball. And then you're going to overturn it too after it was already called a pen? I just don't know. PGMOL has always been a mess and still is, clearly.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a statement here in the next couple of days and see what they say.
Yeah.
Is there anything else on the Arsenal match, though?
No, that's all for me.
Okay. I've got a few more minutes. I just got to get out the door by like 7:15. So I think really quickly we can just do our Game Week 9 predictions and then call it from there.
Let's do it.
All right. So on the season tally, we haven't done it every week. So I'm at 23, I guess you call it, points, and then Spain is at 21.
Yeah, we were tied going into our last prediction, which was in our Game Week 7 predictions. You outscored me by 2. So you're ahead by 2 currently in the season total.
Nice. So let's see if we can extend that lead here. I will go first.
Okay.
As our current leader. But yeah, I'm ready when you are.
All right. Leeds versus West Ham.
I did this before watching the West Ham game on Monday. So I put down draw in the sheet. But I'm going to go with draw. I think Nuno finds a way to rally these boys at least into a situation where they won't lose. I don't know about winning, but I'm going to go draw here.
Okay. Chelsea versus Sunderland.
Give me Chelsea.
Newcastle versus Fulham.
What happened here? Let me go. I'm going to go draw. I think Fulham are going to be hard to beat.
Nice. Man U versus Brighton.
Give me United. Can make it 3 in a row.
Nice. Brentford versus Liverpool.
Unfortunately, actually, no. I'm going to go draw. Okay. I'm gonna go Liverpool kind of figure it out, but Brentford just like get a long throw set piece or something like that to ruin their day.
Or Jensen comes on and scores another goal off the bench.
Yeah.
He's been doing that a lot recently. Twice, but
a lot.
Bournemouth versus Nottingham Forest.
Give me Bournemouth at home in that one. Even Sean Dyche, I think he's gonna try and lock it down, but I don't know if he's gonna have enough time.
Yeah. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
This is going to be a really tough game, but I'm still going to go Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching Mateta versus Saliba and Gabriel should be a good one.
Yeah.
And then if Calafiori starts, how he deals with Sarr and all his runs into the box. Aston Villa versus City.
I've got City in this one.
Wolves versus Burnley.
I'm hesitant to pick Wolves because they haven't won all season, but I think they're going to get it done. I got Wolves in this one.
And then Everton versus Spurs.
Everton versus Spurs. I think Spurs, with them having Champions League midweek and them already not being in a good run of form, I'm going to go Everton. I think Spurs have kind of been able to fraud their way to being close to the top of the table, and I think they're coming back down to earth.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. And Everton at home, they've been solid this season. I think some pretty tough picks in this week.
There's a lot that could go either way, and I think some of them I kind of picked with my heart rather than my head, but that's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready?
Yep.
So, starting back from the top, let's go Leeds versus West Ham.
We go Leeds at home. I think they've been really solid. Their defense has been great. Not good for my Jared Bowen pick, but I'm going Leeds.
Sure. And then Chelsea versus Sunderland.
Chelsea.
Nice. Newcastle versus Fulham.
Newcastle.
Fair enough. What's Mate, by the way? I guess we didn't talk about him enough. He had a contender for goal of the week, actually, now I think about it, that little back heel.
It was pretty saucy.
Yeah. Man United versus Brighton.
I'm going to go draw.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's honestly more likely. I had draw, but then I was like, it's kind of my bit to just pick United every single week at this point. Brentford versus Liverpool.
I'm going to go Liverpool here. I don't think they're going to do 5 in a row.
Nice.
Losses. I think they're going to right the ship a little bit.
All right. Bournemouth versus Forest.
Bournemouth. I don't think Forest has been bad, and I like what I'm seeing for Bournemouth a lot.
Nice. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
Arsenal.
Easy enough. Aston Villa versus Man City.
City.
Yeah. Erling Haaland is on insane form, dude.
Yeah. I'm not quite worried about City making it too coming for us, but I am scared of Haaland. I don't quite believe in all the other parts of City to be consistent over the entire season, but Haaland is just on another level.
Yeah, he looks very, very motivated right now. They're about to get Shirky back as well. I think Marmoush is back any day now as well, so we'll see. And they're on the same run of form as Arsenal. I think they both won 4 out of the last 5.
Oh, well.
Something like that. But Wolves versus Burnley.
I'm going to go draw for this one.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair result. And then Everton versus Spurs.
I really liked your Everton pick, but I'm going to go draw here.
All right. Fair enough.
No real reason, just draw.
Just vibes. Draw vibes.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I haven't watched that much Tottenham recently, so I don't really know how bad they are or where they really stand. I do not have a good sense for them at the moment.
I haven't watched that much of them either, and I've been meaning to, just because I'm getting so much anti-Tottenham propaganda across all my different media outlets. The Tifo podcast has been speaking poorly about them.
Nice.
They were talking about how Tottenham were struggling on one of the Athletic podcasts recently as well. And then I've been seeing some stuff on Twitter and whatnot. So I think I'm just being propagandized or whatever the verb is there.
Hey,
But
give me
I
on
think they're
that.
frauds. Yeah, I got you. It's just I think their underlying numbers have them being like just way worse than what
Yeah,
the table
well,
shows right now. Yeah,
can't
but
say, can't say I'm that
we'll see.
surprised. I mean, I don't think Tell was a good signing. He's not looking great. Slonky's whatever, not been healthy. Madison's out. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't really believe, like, Kudus has been good, but I don't think he's a pick in fantasy for me. I don't think he's, like, that sustainable.
me
I think
neither.
I think he just, yeah, he's a fine player, good player maybe, but he just wasn't crosses, and I don't think he's, like, that great of a player.
Something about him just feels fraudulent. Not fraudulent. He's an exciting player. He does exciting things. I don't know if he's that effective of a player. If is the way to put it for me.
Yeah, just watching him, he doesn't look that smooth. And so, yeah, I don't think, yeah, he deserves some of the points he's gotten in fantasy and the returns he's gotten, but I don't think he's sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll see. That is it, though. I got to run, so we can round out the podcast there. If you guys are still listening, I appreciate you. Once again, please like, comment, subscribe. Looking forward to coming back and talking to you guys about Game Week 9 next week. Hopefully, I get to come back and talk about how United have won 3 games in a row. But until then, we will catch you later.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.